tugul elemite abwatochin eng logoiwek emet kong'ete KASS TV ne somanun kwane Bernard Tanoi ara itagat kainde siyet emetab Kenya ak emetab South Africa koyonjinoshek lo choto chebo Memorandum of Understanding MOUs chetokchinigei koker kole kakanapta mung'aret eng kwenutab emotinwek choto oeng ole kakinde siyet eng koyonjinoshek lo chemite sectors cheterter kaborionji kandoikab eng koyonjinoshek choto President William Ruto ak President Cyril Ramaphosa nebo emetab South Africa eng igorto nekatestai eng emet noton taunit neo nebo Pretoria eng emetab South Africa. Kamwa kandoik choto oeng'u kole tokchinigei koyonjinoshek choto kokanapta mung'aret eng kwenutab Kenya ak South Africa asikobit walet ak bandaptai eng emotinwek choto oeng.
Signed is a memorandum of understanding on facilitation of trade.
As a statement to our growing ties, we have today witnessed the signing of 6 instruments on trade facilitation through cooperation in standards, regulation, and metrology, on shipping and maritime cooperation, and on partnerships in gender equality and women's empowerment, technical and vocational education, arts and heritage, and sports and recreation. On trade and investment, we noted with satisfaction the upward trajectory of our bilateral trade, which grew from US $590 million in 2024 to $650 million in 2025, an increase of $60 million or more than 10% in a single year. This momentum must not only be sustained, but we must also accelerate. We acknowledge that real obstacles still remain, including tariff and non-tariff barriers, limited market access, and regulatory constraints. We therefore directed our trade ministers to dismantle these barriers by fully implementing the directives of the 7th Joint Technical Committee and Trade Committee. We further agreed to harness the Tripartite Alliance and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area to expand access, reduce costs, and unlock the full promise of intra-African trade.
Our countries enjoy long-standing ties of friendship, solidarity, and cooperation over many years. These ties are rooted in our shared history, our common aspirations for African development, and our mutual commitment to peace, democracy, regional integration, and multilateralism. Kenya remains one of South Africa's most important strategic partners in East Africa and on the continent more broadly. During our negotiations and exchanges, we extensively reflected on our bilateral relations. We have expressed satisfaction at the current state of our relations, which is coordinated through the Joint Commission for Cooperation at the level of our 2 foreign ministers. Our economic partnership is one of the most strategic pillars of our bilateral cooperation. Kenya remains South Africa's largest trading partner in East Africa, and it is also an important destination for South African investment on the continent. Leading South African companies have made significant investments in Kenya in sectors such as pharmaceutical services, retail and financial services, information and telecommunications, manufacturing, business services, and infrastructure development.
Eng tai ko kayai tuyet President Ruto ak President Ramaphosa eng taunit noton nebo Pretoria eng emonoto bo South Africa ole kangalale ortinwek chebo kanaptaetab mungaret ak tilyandit nemie eng kwenutab Kenya ak South Africa. Katestai tuyonotok eng Union Buildings nemite taonitab Pretoria ole kayonjin kandoik chotok kokimit mungaret asikonyor keljin biikab emotinwek chotok oeng. Kayonjin kora kandoik chotok koisto konogutik chekikoter yaetab mungaret eng kwenutab Kenya ak South Africa aketes koitetab tuguk chekioldoi eng kwenutab emotinwek chotok oeng.
This reciprocal state visit is a celebration of the friendship as well as the solidarity that binds our two nations. Ours is a relationship that is rooted in shared values, mutual respect, and a common vision for democracy, for peace on our continent, and for prosperity for all our sister countries on the African continent. This visit builds on my state visit to Kenya in November in 2022, where you so warmly welcomed me and my delegation. But it also builds on the many engagements that we have had through our Joint Commission for Cooperation. It reflects the growing strength of our ties and the determination of our two nations to work together for the benefit of our people collectively. We are encouraged by the progress made in addressing trade imbalances between our two countries, removing barriers that hold our economies back, and strengthening regional value chains. Importantly, our cooperation is expanding into new areas as well: green energy, climate-smart industrialization, digital trade, artificial intelligence, maritime cooperation, e-mobility, and skills development. These are areas that both our economies are venturing into. Such cooperation will create opportunities to transform lives, empower young people, and build the resilience of our two economies.
Mr. President, thank you very much for extending an invitation to me to undertake this state visit. Building on your own visit to Kenya in 2022, and to commend you, Mr. President, for taking very bold steps when we met in 2022 to unlock some of the outstanding issues that have been there before and for a long time. And today we celebrate some of the achievements of your visit to Kenya. Trade between our two countries has been growing. We have more imports from South Africa than we have exports from Kenya. But on the flip side, we have more investments from South Africa into Kenya, more than investments coming from Kenya to South Africa. That presents to us a dichotomy that can be explored on what can be done to leverage on the complementarity of our two economies. We are aware that there are still some tariff and non-tariff barriers that constrain trade between our two countries. And this visit provides us, Mr. President, with an opportunity to explore some of those areas so that we can straighten them and make it much more easier and less restrictive for our business people to do what they do best, to trade and to connect people to goods and services.
Yekitestai ko kagomwa serikali kole ngandan kokotestai keborionji kambakoshek eng sugulishek cheterter chebo secondary eng emet ko makikere sugulishek eng mwaet kole kisubi timetable anan calendar nebo somanet agoi kokeskei tamene. Kong'ololi eng sugulitab Kenya High School komwa Principal Secretary nebo somanet Professor Julius Bitok kole tesetai ministry notok kocheng'e walutiet eng sugulishek chekokeborionji kaimutik chebo strike cheboto belsetab sugulishek. Kamwa Bitok kole sugulishek chekokoyai strike ko ng'ering'en mising ngekerchin ak sugulishek chetomo koyai strike, ako notok ole kabinitok eng kasarta nokokiker sugulishek cheboto Utumishi Girls Academy nemite Gilgil koboto Lenana High School ak Alliance High School koboto Loreto Girls Limuru kosubkei ak kambakoshek choto chebo kipsomaninik.
As Minister of Education, we are doing everything possible to ensure that we contain the unrest in our schools. And as a ministry, I want to confirm to the nation that I am meeting 10 days ago with all the principals and all the county directors of education to be able to preempt and to be able to prepare ourselves so that we can be able to contain the unrest in schools. Traditionally, second term is known because of pressures of examinations, because of other pressures within the school. Usually second term is a little bit a delicate term for the students. And in the meeting, I directed all the county directors of education and all the principals to ensure that they seek support and the dialogue with the students, and they speak to them and engage them so that we can reduce any possibility of any unrest in our schools. Unfortunately, some of the principals kept quiet, and what happened has happened. But we still want to call upon all the principals and all the county directors of education to work together very closely to ensure that they contain the unrest in the schools. It is something that is doable. And for us to succeed in that, we must engage the students through their student leadership organizations. We must open dialogue with the students so that we're able to reduce tension. Because the students we have now are listening to parents. They are listening to they are seeing what is happening in the society, and they have a lot of pressure. That is why you see what is happening. As Minister of Education, we have deployed additional 400 quality assurance officers to support this process. Right now, as we speak, inspection is going on for the next 10 days in our schools around the country. All the boarding schools are under inspection now to ensure that there is compliance to the safety regulations of our schools. In addition to that, we have had several meetings, and we have directed our county directors of education also to hold meetings at the local level, at the county level, so that they understand exactly what is happening in our schools. And I want to promise the country that soon and very soon, this will be contained, because the efforts we are putting and the engagement we are making with our principals and our students, this thing will go away. And of course, there are people who are feeling like, well, there's a lot of pressure, but we are saying the school calendar remains unchanged, and we are not going to change the school calendar. Half term will be on 24th, as earlier communicated. We are not changing the dates because of a few students who are trying to disrupt learning in our schools. Right now, we have about 80 schools who have gone on unrest against 9,500 schools. So 99.2% of our learning is going on. So not because of 0.8%, we can't say we will interrupt the calendar of 99.8% because 0.8% of the students are having issues. We are saying we are going to tackle issues.
Eng kasarata kagomonge kipengeishekab konetik chebo NAT ak KUPPET akosom sigik korikyi akotikon lagokwai asikeistoegei yautik chebo strike koboto belsetab sukul chekokotestai kobit eng emet. Kosubkei ak kipengeishechoto bo NAT ak KUPPET konyolu kobois eng kibagenge sigik, konetik ak stakeholders alak chebo somanet eng kirindaetab yautik choto asimakitestai kibet sobonwek koboto malik kobun belsetab sukul.
Kimi en betutab rani St. Mary Senior Mixed School amun kanyon keng'ololen ng'alek chebo security, chebo kalyet ak chebo atepto nekaran en sukulishekkyok. Kingen kele kokobit atebosiek chemokororon chekokobit en sukulishek chechang en Kenya, chekibele sukulishek ak kobelegei lagok, tuguk chekitom kai kekose. Ko en betutab rani ko kakimiten kemi tuyet nebo kanetik che echen koyob Bomet County keng'ololen kele kilyonen ak kitertoi ano kaimutik chuton mi. Ko kit neo nomoche asom sigik ko konet lagok atebet nekararan, matobokokyi lagok kanetik kityo. Chang sigik chekibakach lagok kwa kabisa akobokokyi kanetik, mayome nonito. Mwalimu kabisa netai ko sigindet, onet lagok kwo atebet nekararan ak konet tuguk cheyetonutik chemonyolu keyai, amun kimiten en emet nekakowalak atebosiek chebo lagok nguni. Ko kamoche asom sigik tugul chebo Bomet ak chebo Kenya ale onginet lagokyok atebet nekararan, ongimut lagokyok kanisa, ongeng'ololsechin koba kanisa ak keng'ololsechin ng'alek chekororon asimakinyoru kaimutik cheuchu. Ngeng'olole nguni ko kokas sigik akobo belset nekobit en olimbo utumishi, tibik chekokonye sigikwak koik biik en taa lakini kobel iko abakoker mulangoit en nje, ikere ile nonon ine koboru atebet nemakararan. Ko nemoche asom sigik ale onginet lagokyok atebet nekararan, ak ndo kakiwon lakwet konyo gaa kiyok makeun, koyok principal, ikas kit nekamwa lakwet ak inyokas kit nekamwa principal. Matiter lakwet ako mengen makosa nekayai. Noton nekesome ak kesome biik tugul, kirwokik, village managers, biik chebo kokwet keker kele kakinet lagokyok tugul atebet nekararan. Nebo oeng amoche asom serikali, matkong'et serikali kobur kityo serikali yebit belset nebo sukulishek konyo kokurech for a meeting. Kimoche ketinye tuyet neu nekila asikibriefenike ak keng'ololen kele une sukulishekyok en Bomet ak en Kenya.
Makosep lagokyok kinamen bankit, 87% of lagokyok en resign koye bankit chemi sukul, ako bankit komomi sukul, ng'ete resop. So kila mtu kokichangian kedestroyen character nebo lagokyok. So kakisome sigik kole kama brother en yu kole tokyingei kokwek sigik kole kiriptoi ano lagok. Secondly, kesome members of parliament kitakeker ng'alekab corporal punishment. Kilya sikisto kirokto en sukul, bakeste bakobirech nguni lagok, ko kaikai kebir lagok kosir konyo kobirech akobele sukulishek. So that thing koyoche kereversen in parliament, ng'alekab corporal punishment keker. Ng'alekab CCTV, vile my brother said, in schools, any boarding school must have a CCTV camera, and that is the first investment. Bore korwe lagok, board of management oker kole mi CCTV camera nemi sukul, ako nebo sana keboisien kemo kemonitoren kele what is happening. Makinyo keker kokalal sukul kele ocheken kobele ng'o, nyolu sip keker en CCTV kele anchun chebendote kotoret biik CCTV kipreventen as a preventative measure, ma aftermath kinyo keker kele what happened. Ng'alekab counseling kokakemwa ak ng'alekab professional security agencies en sukul, kesir chito nekikitrainen koyai ng'alekab security asiot kointerpreten ng'alekab CCTV. Mokere boisiek kibo kasari kinye ng'alekab ma-interpreten, and it's not the work of principal to be concerned so much about security. So kisome board of management en tuyet nekakiyai sukul amang'alalen security komatomo complete.
Yekitestai ko iboru walutikab chikilisiet chekoyai kampunitab Tifa kole tesetai kobune kewelutik chechang biikab emet kotinygei ak olietab sobet nekokwo barak mising. Iboru chikilisionoto kikiyai eng tarik 2 arawetab mut kenyini eng counties 47 chebo emet kole tomo kowalak sobetab biikab emet kong'ete kobata lewenisiet nebo 2022 ole kebeberta 19 eng bokol nebo biikab emet komwoe kole maya sobet. Mwoe biikab boror kole aisurusiek chechang chekitoi serikalitab Kenya Kwanza ko kikoyai kouit sobet ole makotindoi kamuget biikab emet nebo kwal amitwogik ak tuguk alak chebo komonut eng sobet. Boisionik chemomitei olietab amitwogik nemitei barak koboto loiset nekokwo barak mising ko alak eng tuguk chemwoe biikab emet kole kikoyai kouit sobet ole chang kewelutik kosubkei ak tesetab olietab mwanik. Bitu nitok eng kasarta netomo arawek 14 kityo asikoit lewenisiet nebo 2027 ole iboru chikilisionoto kole kebeberta 47 eng bokol nebo biikab emoni komwoe kole tokchingei ole ya sobet ak emet ole tokchinigei kora ole ya emetab Kenya. Yekiistoegei notok komachei biik chetindoi kewelutikab borto eng emoni kikoch boroindo eng cabinet kokebata lewenisiet nebo 2027 amu mamitei chi netindoi kewelutikab borto nekikelewen kobois eng cabinet kong'ete konyor katiaknatet emoni kosubkei ak executive director nebo kibengeitab Consortium of Disabled Persons Organizations in Kenya Joseph Atela kotesetai konyoru katabanet biik chetindoi kewelutikab borto eng emoni ole nyolu eng serikali kobwat icheget eng boroinwekab serikali koboto ng'echerokab kandoinatet akotaban rabinik chekitoreten bichoto asikoityi bandaptai.
We persons with disabilities are honored to inaugurate a flagship program dedicated to advancing democracy and fostering inclusion for persons with disabilities, underscoring our steadfast commitment to an inclusive governance framework that ensures no Kenyan is marginalized.
We here make the following irreducible minimum as our 2027 agenda. Yes. Number 1, appointment of more persons with disability into key leadership positions, including cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, to ensure our voice is represented at the highest level of decision making. Number 2, accurate and up-to-date data collection on persons with disability to improve planning and budget, addressing gaps identified in 2019 census. 3, reservation of 5% employment opportunities for persons with disability across all levels of government and public institutions. Number 4, enhance financial support through expand ASOLA Fund, Nyota grants, and other business programs, specifically targeted at people with disability-owned enterprises. Number 5, full implementation of the policies and act caregivers support, including tax reveals for parents and caregivers of children with disability. Oh yeah? Number 6, strengthening the political representation of people with disability by ensuring that we have at least 2 members of county assemblies, MCS, in every county, male and female. 4 members of National Assembly, 2 male and female, a cabinet secretary, 4 principal secretaries, and 4 ambassadors, among other positions.
the whole question of human approach to disability work is very, very important for us. Today, our concern was political participation. And we have been able to reflect on what has been happening on the political participation arena in this country. Remember, participation of persons with disabilities in political processes is supported by the 2025 Persons with Disabilities Act, the 2024 policy, the 2010 Constitution, and most important, the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which Kenya has ratified and which therefore has become part of the laws of Kenya. So when we demand appropriate, meaningful participation in the political processes, we are right within the law, and we are calling for the implementation of the commitments that our government has made, both at the Global Disability Summit as well as in enacting the laws that we have.
Ngetokchigei counties ole katuyo kibengeitab Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa AGRA ak stakeholders cheterter chemite sekta nebo kabatishet eng taonitab Eldoret asikong'alale ortinwek choto chebo kakimitetab kabatik koboto boisionik choto chebo kabatishet. Kakicher kabatik eng tuyonotok koboisie ortinwek chebo kasari eng kolsetab minutik koboto ripsetab kiagik asikonyor kelchinoik chemite barak, kou eng report nekinyoru kobun sirindenyo eng taonitab Eldoret Isaac Kogei.
Eng tuyet nekaituyo stakeholders cheterter chebo kabatishet komwa ofisaek cheechen chebo kibagenge notok po Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa AGRA kondochin Dr. Jeremiah Rogito ak Patrick Kibaya kole iboibochin kibagenge notok kenyisiek 30 kong'ete ketoi kokimiti akichek kabatik eng boisionik chekanaptoi nyorunetab melekwek.
So for the last over 2 years, with the support from the Gates Foundation, we've been able to develop the climate vulnerability and risk assessment tool we call ClimeVat. And this tool, we are now domesticating it to ensure that planners, stakeholders in this particular area can be able to utilize this tool for adaptation planning and be able to use it for their plans and strategies as they plan for investments and where to put agriculture investments in the country. This tool is critically important for a wide range of stakeholders. For county executives, it's important for them to ensure they're able to prioritize which areas are more vulnerable. As a result, be able to utilize that information to better invest their finances and resources to assist the vulnerable communities. For the last mile consumers, the farmers there, they're able to determine and know how their area looks like currently, how it's been looking historically, and even project in the next 5 years all the way up to 2050 and tell what are the challenges they're going to experience, and as a result be able to absorb the shocks and be able to make informed decisions right here today in terms of what value chains they should invest in.
We are here on a very important activity. We are here to validate the climate vulnerability assessment tool, which has been developed, and we are having an opportunity as stakeholders within the space of climate action in the agriculture sector, the tool, and also try to share insights on how we can better implement and roll it out for the benefit of the users who are our farmers and the communities.
Kamwa afisa chotok kole tesetai koboisie eng kibagenge notok ak serikalishekab counties koboto ng'amutik eng kamang'unetab walutik chetoreti kanaptaetab kabatik.
Tool will be utilized by a wide range of stakeholders. The county governments becoming the primary role where we're focusing on, especially working very closely with the Council of Governors to ensure that it's utilized across the entire country for decision planning and analysis. Another level of stakeholders that will be able to utilize these tools are the financial service providers and anyone who is trying to make an informed decision, especially in agriculture.
Kamite tuyonotok CEC nebo kabatishet kobun county nebo Nandi Kiplimo Lagat nemwoe kole nyolu kotuyogei serikalishekab counties akobois ak kibagenge notok bo AGRA eng kanaptaetab akwayetab ng'ung'unyek, nyorunetab siroshek ak climate smart farming.
And we are meeting here to consider the climate tool that has been given to us through the AGRA, supporting the Council of Governors, to build the capacities for counties to be able to plan. As we are all aware, most of the counties are more vulnerable now to climate variability. We have a lot of climatic incidences. Incidents that are originating from climate change, including landslides, we have floods, we have droughts, we have wildfires, and so many incidences that actually are impacting negatively on our communities. They are impacting negatively on food security, impacting negatively on agricultural production and productivity, and impacting even more so on livelihoods. We have lost several lives because of climatic factors. All those incidences, when you look at them together, requires adequate planning. It requires adequate preparedness by counties, especially through the disaster management units. It requires adequate planning of resources to be able to adapt and mitigate against those climatic events.
Kong'etika taunetab Eldoret eng county nebo Uasin Gishu, logoiwekab emet chebo KASS, kainenyu ko Isaac Kogei.
Tesetai chopchinetab kei nebo edition nebo aeng nebo labatetab noto tokchinigei ripset noto nebo timdo nebo Mao netetat keyai eng arawetab tisab kenyini, kamwa principal secretary nebo itonwekab emet engineer Festus Ngeno kole kokobit walet neo kobun ripsetab Mau Forest ak konyor keljin meng'ik cherikchin timdo nebo Mao kong'ete ngotoigei tetutik chebo ripsetab osnonoto bo Mau. Kokinyoru report notok eng koindo kobun sirindenyo Samson Kurgat.
Kamwa PS kole kong'eten kinam tetutyonotok eng kenyit konye kokokebaorionchi borotet meng'ikab komasata chekikikochi mbarenik kokol ketik yeibata kokol bandek ak minutik alak che amitwogik.
You are allocated a piece of land in the forest as a community, and we are dealing with the communities living there adjacent to the forest. But the first thing you do, we give you the seedlings. You plant the seedlings as per the standard provided and guided by the forester or Kenya Forest Service. When you plant those seedlings is when now you can till the land and then you can plant your crops. Remember, we are giving you this plot for you to improve yourself. So that is the reason why we have a huge success rate in Mau Forest. And you will find the women are the ones from the community who are doing the potting of the tubes as it were. So this is a program that is delivered, community-owned, community co-created, and partner-driven.
Ako inguni ko kikekol ketik chesire million agenge ak kebeberiat.
Waletab itondab emet wasafi ak tuguchon tugul ko magat kemi tugul sikeng'et kesaportengei kerestoren Mau to the original state kou lekiu. Second edition nebo Mau program kiyae in 1st of August 2026. Lakini on 3rd July kiyae marathon korok, and then within a month we come and do the other program about the programming of the second edition.
Kang'ong ine kole wendi korutochin komasata kwanda President Rachel Ruto asikotoret chepyosok ak kwonyik eng tetutik alak chebo bandab tai.
First Lady of the Republic of Kenya kowendi Mau kosapoten programs chebo chepyosok ak chebo lagokab sukul en Choiwa program, kitchen gardening program. Ako kiko adopten kora a block in Mau Forest Complex, the First Lady.
Eng labatet nebo kenyini ko kokites rabisiek chebo kabelikab labatanata.
The support nebo Excellency the President ko kikilipan rabisiek to at least 125.39 million. But this second edition of Mau Conservation Marathon is going to be bigger. We intend to pay almost 7.8 million shillings to 120 at least in 4 categories also. So the winner never 42 kilometers will go home with Kenya shillings 600,000.
Ripsetab Mau Forest Complex ko agenge eng tetutik chetokyingei kolsetab ketik billion 15 koite kenyitab 2032.
So there is a threat of El Nino coming. All right? For those, there are high temperatures in the night, while it is cold in the day, and that is what is spiking it. So with the El Nino, that is climate change already. So we need to be able to get our country in a proper infrastructure. And what usually the easiest way to mitigate against climate change is by having forest cover or tree cover for that matter. These pollution story, carbon things and all those other things. That's why Congo forest is really, even if you pollute, there is an essence of that you can be able to sequester the pollution. And now, even for heavy rainfalls, if you have canopies or forest cover, you can get threats of floods.
Aripotenchini KASS logoiwekab emet eng county nebo Nairobi, kainenyu ko Samson Kurgat.
Kakolipanda kampunitab tuget nebo Britam rabinik million 97.3 koityi kabatik ak boikab kiagik eng emetab Kenya ak emotinwek alak chebo East Africa chekinyor asenet kobun kemeut ak kaimutik alak chetinye ak walet eng itondab emet anan climate change eng kenyitab 2025. Rabinichato kobo kabatik 402,681 chekitil tuget anan insurance nebo asenet netinye kaimutik cheibu climate change asikoribokis ichek kobun asenet age tugul kosub ak sustainability report nebo kampunitab Britam nebo kenyitab 2025 kotesetai kampuninotok kokonoptoi tiletab insurance asikoribokis kabatik kobun asenet age tugul ole kolany tugetab minutik anan crop insurance eng kebeberta 83% kong'ete kabatik 161,521 eng kenyitab 2024 agoi kabatik 294,799 eng kenyitab 2025. Ole tesetai kora Britam kokimiti tetutik chebo ribsetab itondab emet kobun kolsetab ketik cheite million 60.
Today we were launching our third sustainability report, the 2025 sustainability report. It is the scorecard or marking scheme of some of the commitments we have made over time in the sustainability space. Starting obviously with the growing of 60 million trees. This is a commitment we have repeated today. And we have also launched the TAWI app, which will enable all of us to tag the trees that we grow so that there is one source of truth of how many trees we have planted. In the report, we have talked about how much solar power we are generating and therefore carbon emissions from the trees that we are obviously contributing in terms of reducing carbon emission, any recycling that we are doing, fighting corruption, fraud cases that we have tackled and we continue to tackle, because in the report we have emphasized yet again that Britam has zero tolerance to fraud.
Some of the key numbers that we are celebrating today is the fact that over the last 1 year and going back to 2024, we've been able to cover more than 200,000 farmers using our crop insurance and our livestock insurance projects. Last year alone, we were able to pay out in excess of 97 million Kenya shillings as to farmers in those livestock and crop insurance protection schemes. And so for us, that is important because it speaks to our ability as an organization to restore livelihoods where it matters most. These are farmers in pastoralist areas. These are farmers in crop areas where they are impacted by things like either flood or drought. And so when those natural calamities happen, a lot of times we see that farmers are not able to come back and get restored as it were. And so our insurance products then come in very strongly to sort of restore the farmer where they would have been had the crop been successful, had the season been successful, or had the drought not impacted so negatively their livestock. And that is where we see some of the greatest impacts that we have been able to report today. And beyond that, and as an organization based in Africa, we are proud to say that we are very deliberate in how we procure our services. Last year alone, we procured about 3 billion Kenya shillings worth of goods and services from local suppliers. And local here, I mean Kenyan and in the 6 other countries in Africa that we operate in. We've been very deliberate around women and persons living with disability in terms of the fees and to access and get shortlisted and pre-qualified. We waive those fees for the women who have the government and certificate, the youth and the people living with disability. So these are just some of the big numbers we are so proudly just reporting today.
Kongeker logoiwek choto chebo urerioshek ole tetat keyai eng betutab Jumapili tarik 7 arawetab 6 eng taonitab Nairobi labatet noton nebo kenyini nebo Nairobi City Marathon edition nebo 5 kosub ak Deputy Traffic Commander nebo Traffic eng Nairobi Rashid Ali ko tetat keker alak eng ortinwekab Nairobi asikobit kosulda labatanat nebo Nairobi City Marathon eng oret neititaat.
Labatanatan chute edition nebo 5 eng betutab Jumapili eng barabaret nebo Nairobi Expressway. Koimuch komonge rwoik chechang chebo korwai eng labatanatan cheite 17,000 eng labatosiek tugul ak eng kasarta netai koimuch kosirchigei elite athletes cheite 1,000 ak 700 eng labatanatan kosubkei ak Deputy Traffic Commander nebo Nairobi nenaat ko Traffic 2 Rashid Ali kokamwa kole tetat keker barabarosiek chebo Expressway ak Uhuru Highway koboto Kenyatta Avenue ak Haile Selassie Avenue eng taonitab Nairobi eng betunoton po Jumapili.
Vehicles coming from Mombasa, as I've said, those who want to access CPD will be diverted to Southern Bypass. Those who are coming from Mombasa to CPD will access CPD through GM, so that they'll use Enterprise Road to access CPD. Otherwise, the officers will be there throughout. Those roads will be closed at midnight. 12:00.
Eng betutab raini ko kaimuch kora kondochi igortan nebo minset nebo ketik en elemolo ak barabaret nebo Expressway President nebo kibagengeit nebo Athletics Kenya Jackson Tuwei kosubkei ak inendet ko labatet nebo Nairobi City Marathon ko tieme koker kole kakimuch kemin ketik chechang eng emet nebo Kenya.
Ketik ko achek eng Athletics Kenya ko kikesainan document nebo United Nations Environment Sustainability. Nekikere kele ketik chekikole kemoche kekol ketik chechang amu ketik koibu hewa nekararan kora. Ako olatugul ole rwoe rwoik komoche komite ketik ako kemoche kora kesupporten effort nebo His Excellency the President amu kile ketik komoche by 2032 komoche kakekol ketik 15 billion. Ko nguno ko oret nekibune ak progress nekakiit ko kekol ketik tugul amu ngekol ketik kokonu hewa nekararan akot ngomitei pollution nekamitei amu kaolep city ak ne tugul cheu chotok anan ko emission chebo carbon emission komuchi kotoret ketik koker kole kamite hewa nekararan. Ko nguno amoche asomok tugul ale ongekol ketik eng Kenya tugul.
Kakimuch kinde eng betutab raini eng barabaret nebo Expressway Air Quality Sensor netoreti kenaen itondab emet eng betut age tugul eng barabaret nebo Expressway. Kangong niton Niall O'Connor inendet ko Center Director nebo Stockholm Environment Institute Africa SEI nikangolole eng betutab raini.
The quality of athletes in Kenya, we want to support their health. So the whole idea behind air quality monitoring is to provide not only kind of data to the city about air quality for the athletes in the marathon, but also for the city in general, for all citizens to benefit from this. So we have now got monitors here, and we'll have mobile monitors along the route, so we can see air quality as they progress through the marathon. We can get to understand the physiological impacts on the athletes themselves because they're consuming a lot, and we can make sure that we're kind of adhering to the World Health Organization standards to ensure quality air for the athletes. So we're very keen to kind of continue this collaboration with Athletics Kenya to make sure that we can use the data that we've gathered over the last number of years to support the route that's been used, use the data to encourage policy change maybe in Nairobi for higher quality of air for all people, but also particularly for the marathon runners to make sure that they get the best quality, standard air quality.
Martin Churiot, Chegnur KASS TV, ureriosiek.
Eng leta ko tatata keyai ureriet nebo biik cheosen nenaat ko World Masters Athletics Championship eng arawetab 8 ak arawetab 9 kenyini eng taunit neo nebo Daegu eng emetab South Korea. Rwoik lo chebo emetab Kenya kotetat korwai eng urerionotok akobunu ichek county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet kokinyoru report notok eng koindo kobun sirindenyo eng taunitab Iten Andrew Kimeto.
Tetat kondochi emoni rwoik lo cheosen anan Masters Athletes chebunu county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet eng urerietab World Masters Athletics Championship tetat kiyai eng Daegu emetab South Korea kong'ete tarik 21 arawetab 8 kenyini. Akoi tarik 3 arawetab 9 kenyini.
Saturday kokikibe Ulinzi Stadium Nairobi for trials. Kikinyo trials about all our counties, 49 counties. So kikinyo trials and then kikimut athletes. We 32 athletes, but mwisho tukachukua 21 athletes. And then we qualified. Qualified in yoto kiko number 1. Elgeyo Marakwet County kiko number 1. In boyshek chiwa masters, and we had 6 of them given the law to qualify in Nyota to be in South Korea.
Alaking roi choto pun county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet ko Julius Bilat nebo kenyisiek 83 nelabati inendet mitaisiek 1000 ak mitaisiek 1500 koboto osotiondenyi Leonida Opio nelabati inendet mitaisiek 100 ak kora mitaisiek 1000.
Jana nimekimbia muda mrefu mpaka mwaka jana nikiwa na miaka 72 ndio nikapanda ndege. Wakati nilipokuwa ndani nikasema ni mimi kweli ama ni mwingine. Mwaka hii tena ndio nimerudia nitaenda South Korea. Nilienda Tunisia mara ya kwanza. Mara ya pili ni ya South Korea.
Hasa nilipoitwa nikashangaa kidogo, naona mzee mpaka nikafurahi. Nilifurahi sana. Na mzee anarudi mara ya pili. Kwanza hajawaambia alileta gold 2 na silver 1. Hasa mimi sasa niombe, nitaomba Mungu tu waende waniruhusu nikimbie mbio ngapi na ziwe gold zote.
Eng kenyit nekosirtoi kokipchi emoni labatinde noto naat ko Julius Bilat mindeletab gold eng 5000 meters eng urerietab Africa Masters Athletics Championship nekiyai eng emetab Tunisia.
Mbio yangu kule Tunisia ilikuwa ni 3, lakini Mjapanese alinifukuza mpaka nikajua kweli kumbe kuna wanaume wengine. Kwa 800 wakati tulikuwa kwa line hivi akaniuliza, "Where are you coming from?" Nikamwambia, "I'm from Kenya." "Oh, that is why you are too fast." Kumbe ameniona kwa race 2, 10k na 15. Au kuniona. Lakini kwa hii 800 Akina Baeno walikuwa wanasema wewe unachukua mtu wapi wewe? Na mimi naona tu huyu hata nishika. Kufika kwa finishing. Akaruka.
Kamwasisi nebo urerioshek eng county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet Michael Kibiwot kole magat kecher rwoik chikoba kamungset komonge asikonyor chegat boroindo noto bo labatet nebo biik cheosen anan Masters Athletics.
Michezo ni ya kila mtu. Kando ya imani kwamba michezo tu ni ya the youth. But the truth is sports is for everyone. And our mandate as a county government is to promote sports for everybody, even old age. And so that is good. It's also good for our health.
Kongete county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet, logoiwekab urerioshek chebo KASS, kainenyu ko Andrew Kimeto.
Ko agoi yoto ko kakeit let eng logoiwekab emet chekaitun kong'ete KASS TV. Kainenyu ko Bernard Tanoi. Amakon kit age tugul nemie testai iker KASS TV amu kimnatet naet.